This will load up again. The stuff that's usually sitting there and he goes bing, bang, boom. It all has to start from scratch. So, well, all right, here we go.
Have a seat. It's showtime. All right, 6:48. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues. Welcome to the Fraser City Council regular meeting of Thursday, April 9th, 2026. The time is now 6:49 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mr. Gischlag, please call the roll.
Councilmember Baranski.
Present.
Councilmember Higgins. Present. Councilmember Fletcher.
Present.
Mayor Lesich.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
Present.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Shornack. That is a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. Item number 4, approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda at this time unless there are any changes, additions, deletions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Baranski, seconded by Councilmember Shornack to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item number 5, citizen participation on agenda items. This is the portion of the meeting where if you would like to speak on an agenda item, but you can't be here for that particular time during the meeting, you can come on up and give us your thoughts right now. All right, seeing none, we will move on. Item number 6, consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilmember Higgins, seconded by Councilmember Baranski to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 7A, closed session strategy discussion with legal counsel regarding negotiations related to a collective bargaining agreement. I will make the motion to go into closed session for that strategy discussion.
Second.
All right, motion by Mayor Lesich, seconded by Councilmember Baranski to go into closed session. Roll call, please.
Baranski.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Fletcher.
Yes.
Lesich.
Yes.
Odell.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Shornack.
Yes.
6:51.
Thank you very much. We'll now go into closed session at 6:51 p.m.
I purposely saved my Wordle for this closed session, so I didn't do it earlier.
You're the second person today.
The closed session is now 7:24 PM, and we will now move on to item 8A, presentation of the fiscal year 26-27 budget and millage rates. And I assume that's you, Ms. Lev.
That is me, and Ed is queuing up the presentation. I see it up there now, so I think we are ready to go. This is the presentation of the fiscal year 2026-27 budget presentation. I want to thank all of the department heads for all of the time and effort that they put into working with me on this budget. It's a very time-consuming process. We get started in January on this process. There are about 1,000 line items of budget items in the budget, so it takes a lot of time. From the perspective of the wages and reviewing all of that information, that's about 3,000 cells worth of information that we're checking for accuracy and reviewing and updating all of that information. So thank you to all the department heads and everyone that was involved in working on this. So the agenda, we're going to just do a quick financial overview, and then I will discuss a little bit about the staffing and capital and a quick summary. As I mentioned at our previous meeting, this is really just an opportunity for me to present my recommended budget. After that, we will have the public hearing, and then next week, we will have our budget workshop where that gives council an opportunity to meet with department heads and ask questions. We'll take a deep dive into the budget and all of the numbers, and that will be an opportunity to take a look at any changes that we may want to make with the budget. All right, so moving on to the next slide. So financial overview. You can go to the next one. So millages, you will see from this chart over the last several years, our millage rates have actually been going down. The current year, we are down 0.7, and this next projected year will be down 0.1 for the millage rate. This is due to the millage reduction fraction that we get from the state. I believe this year it's 0.98. So rolling those back, the Public Act 33 public safety millage, I have maintained at the 1.5. Certainly that's something when we get into the budget workshop we can further discuss. And then also the refuse, maintaining that at the 1.4. Next slide, please. This is a clip of the general fund balance from the amended budget to the recommended budget for 26-27. We are looking at projected general fund expenditures of $18 million in the recommended budget, with the required 25% fund balance in the general fund. That leaves us with about $4.5 million available surplus funds as well. On to the next slide. Correct.
At the end, sorry. Yep. At the end of 2027
Yes.
fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay.
So the next slide is committed expenditures. One of the things that I want to detail is that the majority of the general fund is already committed expenditures. The bulk of the cost obviously is labor-related costs, our pension and OPEB costs, contractual obligations. So think about your utilities, gas, electric, all of our services for the IT and assessing, dispatch, our building contractors and assessing, also the services, insurance, legal. And then one of the other significant expenditures that we have is the industrial park roads reconstruction. Moving on to the next slide. Just a little bit of an update on pension and other post-employment benefits obligation. Pension and OPEB obviously are a big debt that we have. The obligation for pension is $29 million, and for OPEB is $25 million. OPEB, this is for retiree health care, which we are only 11% funded for that. It's actually a pretty good increase from last year. We were only about 5%. The statistics and everything that drive into that based on life expectancy and the people that are in the pool affect those numbers. The number of inactive employees, so the people that we have that we are still paying for pensions and are no longer working or providing services to the city, those are 125 people. So that's actually more than the number of employees that we have working for the city. There are also people that have since left the city and are eligible to receive a pension or other post-employment benefits. Those are 38 people. We currently have 56 people that are still currently working for the city that are eligible.
That would be an example of the 38 that aren't collecting? It's because they're working somewhere else?
Either they retired early
they
and
don't
they
meet
haven't
the
started drawing. Yep.
They don't meet the
They're-
qualifications?
Yep. Or they could be working somewhere else as
Okay.
well. Yep. Right, next slide, please. So outstanding debt, as you all know, a lot of our outstanding debt is something that is out of our control. It's all regarding the water and sewer projects. Obviously, you see this large list here. Most of them don't even start dropping off until after 2030. They total over $15 million. We also do have the bonds that we got recently for the industrial park roads, which those are going to be covered by the general fund as well as the SAD for the industrial park. Next slide, please. Moving on to staffing summary. For wages, the majority of the wages are already set in stone with the union contracts. We do have 6 union contracts that cover a total of 65 employees. That's out of about 105 employees. Negotiations for POAM have already started. That contract expires at the end of the year. We're pretty much done with the other contracts, so this is really going to be the one that's going to be taking up a lot of time and effort this year. In the wage spreadsheet that I put together, I'm recommending 3% for non-union employees. There are some other positions, including the city manager and many department heads, that have a recommended market adjustment for those wages. We'll be able to provide a little bit more information about that at the budget workshop. Next slide, please. There are a number of requests from department heads for some new staffing. One thing that we have talked about recently is to get more code enforcement and looking to move from a part-time to a full-time code enforcement, which would be a net increase of $50,000 a year. The finance department is looking to add one more part-time person up to $54,000, though in conversations with Angeli, it likely won't be at the 29 hours a week that we put the maximum in for. Also, we're looking to add some more hours to the senior activity center. That would be increasing one of the part-time positions to a full-time position, which would be a net change of about $55,000. And then also looking to add another seasonal part-time DPW worker at $32,000. One of the things to think about with these costs, the majority of that is for the cost of insurance. We don't necessarily know if someone is going to be a single, a family plan, or if, like me, they'll take a stipend in lieu of taking the benefits, which would be a significant cost savings. Next slide.
Is that just for the year, the 191?
Yep. All right, moving on to capital expenses. So this is really the bulk of the budget that is under the decision of council to determine really what stays and what goes. There were a number of capital items that were requested from department heads in the budget that I did remove. These are the ones that have been maintained in the recommended budget. I'll just briefly go over this list. We can talk about that in more detail at the next meeting. Clerk's department, new election equipment. Hopefully this will be covered by the state. For buildings and grounds, we're looking at some elevator upgrades, City Hall emergency generator, recoding the senior activity center gym floor, banner and bracket replacements, replacing an enclosed grass trailer, and City Hall HVAC final payment. For public safety, they're also looking to replace a motorcycle in the upcoming year. Public Works, the Linden Station abandonment, this large project that we're looking at. This is something that would be a large-scale project that would impact a number of property owners that have some sewer lines running under their homes. Parks, we've talked about Stephens Park. We're working on the master plan. I've got in there $1,000 for parks improvements. One thing to think about from Stephens Park perspective is that we're looking to potentially have the results back from the survey late summer, early fall. For any type of grant applications, we would need to have some type of developed plan, which certainly for a large-scale park plan, I think we would want to submit grant applications. Those typically are due to the state in April. So timing-wise, I don't think that we would be making a large investment in the park in this fiscal year, or this upcoming fiscal year. Streets, we've got a number of streets that we'll be making some improvements on in conjunction with water mains, and also doing a fair number of signs, joint sealing, and pavement marking. Next page, please. The industrial park, we hope to be able to finish the construction of all of those roads this year. We started the project in the current fiscal year, so the next fiscal year, by the end of 2026 in the fall. Hopefully we will have the bulk of that completed. It might require a little bit of finishing some of the grass work and just site improvements at the early spring. Rubbish trailer-mounted leafer hood vent. And then senior housing, we still have a number of improvements that we're looking to do there. This is to be more in line with what some of the other senior housing facilities offer. Continuing some of the HVAC and hot water replacements, looking to get courtyard gazebo and furniture, replace sidewalks and drainage to make the property safer, emergency generator, elevator upgrades, and replacing the exterior siding. Water and sewer, we plan to do the upgrades in conjunction with what we have stated in the utility rate plan that was developed. And for motor pool, looking to replace 5-yard dump truck with a loader and replace a 4x4 truck. So the total of these capital expenses across all of the various funds is about $14.5 million. And continuing on to the summary. So we are projecting an average revenue decrease of about 10%, which don't get scared by that number because it's primarily due to the industrial road proceeds. So in our current fiscal year, we actually have $9 million in proceeds from the bond sale. So really the 10% is an unusual number because of that one-time occurrence. We're projecting an average cost decrease of 2%. One of the things with the economy and with the changes that are going on at the state and the governor's election, we're kind of pulling back a little bit on expenses this year and being a little bit more reserved because there is such insecurity of the next year or so. We, as I have mentioned, are going to be working on contract negotiations for POAM, which is expiring at the end of this year. Our net liabilities, so the water, sewer, pension, OPEB, the industrial road bonds, we're around $80 million for that. So with the recommended budget, the estimated total revenues are $38 million, and the total expenses are $47.5 million, with estimated capital expenses of $14.5 million. And that is all that I have for the presentation. As I said, next week at our workshop, we will be taking a deep dive into this and answering questions and working with department heads. They will all be in attendance. Can you go back to the last slide? The summary.
Thank you.
One more.
Get what you asked for.
The summary page.
There we go.
Did you have a question?
Well, I guess I kind of do. I didn't, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
go
perfect.
ahead, because I have a question
Okay,
too,
perfect.
so-
Well, just, so what am I missing here? Because we've got total revenue of 38 million, but expenses of 47 million. Where are we getting the difference?
A lot of that is the industrial park roads.
Okay.
Because we have the 9 million already.
That's what I wanted to make
We
sure,
already
like.
have that, yes.
Because I love the summary. I would want it a little bit darker font. That's just a constructive criticism. I cannot see, like, I'm like, is it just me? The font is so, it's beautiful, but I'm squinting. But just so that, I love everything you did, but I was literally like, the math is not mathing.
And that's because of that weird industrial
Okay.
park roads thing that is throwing a lot of these numbers off this year.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my, I had
it's-
the same question.
Oh.
I had the same question.
Yeah, it kicked the revenue last year up because it's revenue when we sell the bond. And now we're spending
Okay.
the bond.
All
That's,
right, got it.
So in our heads, we could think about the 38 as like added 9 onto that.
a what?
And add
Right.
9 onto that. But it's in the last fiscal year.
Or take 9 off the expenses.
Yeah, okay.
That's a better way to do it.
I think the better way to do it is look at that 38 million as more of our year in, year out. That's kind of where our budget's at. That 9 million, that 16 million over 2 years was a significant one-time expenditure.
And then keep in mind, all the funds that are going to the senior housing is going to come out of that fund. That's not in our general fund. So it has its own little lovely fund now, which it should have had from the very
And
beginning.
then
Well, it's had that
one,
for
one thing about the industrial park roads, it has its own separate fund, 213. By the end of this project, the revenues are going to be pretty flat because it'll just be really that SAD that we get every year to make the bond payment. And we won't be having any interest from any of the bond money. We won't have the bond money anymore. And we also won't have the expenses.
And you said that's going to be at the end of
End
next
of-
summer, or this summer? This summer.
So it's going to be close to being completed by the end of
This year.
this calendar year. So halfway through the proposed fiscal year is when the bulk of the money would be expended.
So still all the way into December. Got it.
Before we start our next budget process. Joy Bliss.
So I had a question on you had water main projects and local streets for LED Serial and Schoolcraft. Last year, we approved that, but we approved it with storm sewer. Is that storm sewer in or out? Because I'm concerned.
I don't have an answer to that, but
Well,
yes, it's in.
it's going to be
I
a
thought it
question.
said it was in, but
I have phoned a friend.
Only one lifeline. Use it wisely.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Correct me if I'm wrong, City Manager, but the value of the storm to do those roads was, I think, around $1.7 million. And when the time came to balance the budget and come close to our required reserve fund balance, I believe the city manager budgeted $100,000 as a placeholder so we can talk about it at the budget sessions.
Okay, but I was under the impression last year that we approved that project and had it been done last year, or had we moved forward, I think the cost wasn't 1.7 million, it was somewhere around 800,000 or something.
Correct, and I think AW underestimated the value, and when they're doing their exact preliminary engineering, they gave me better numbers this winter.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else from council? All right, is that all, City Manager Levin? All right, then we will move to item 8B, public hearing on the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. and millage rates. I will now open the public hearing at 7:44 PM. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on the 2026-2027 budget and millage rates? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 7:45 PM. Next, item 8C, purchase of 2026 Ford Police Interceptor, all-wheel drive utility Explorer patrol vehicle. Captain Matthew, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, and everyone in attendance. My name is Captain Scott Matthew, and I'm here on behalf of Director Kretschmar. She could not make it tonight. And I'm here to present some information on some equipment that the public safety is requesting. So first up is the 26 Ford Police Interceptor all-wheel drive.
You got to move that microphone a little closer,
Okay, there we go.
or speak in a command voice.
There you go.
There you
Much
go.
better.
There it
Pretend like your
is.
kids or you're yelling at your kids.
That's right, that's right. So, part of the director's capital improvement planning includes replacing vehicles as they age. The mileage has increased, the wear and tear on the vehicles. We're running these vehicles about 24 hours a day. Sometimes they get used on each shift. There's 3 shifts. So as you can imagine, the miles start to add up. The car that we're asking to replace is Patrol Car Scout number 32. It is now exceeding 131,000 miles. Within your package here, there is a quote from Lung Hammer Ford, which is a Michigan deal quote. This quote of the vehicle cost is $49,315.18. In addition to outfitting from Canfield Equipment Services to the tune of $22,554.18, totaling $71,869.18. We're asking to use the capital outlay account. Last budget meeting, it was estimated to replace this vehicle at about $70,000. It's increased about $1,869, and graphics to put on the vehicle should not exceed more than $3,000. So in your attachment again is the Long Hammer quote as well as the Canfield quote. So I would make a motion.
You don't get to do that.
You are happy to run.
Jumping the gun there.
For you.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, I would recommend a motion to purchase a 26 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor at the Michigan deal price from Lung Hammer Ford at the cost not to exceed $75,000, which would include outfitting and graphics from the capital outlay account.
Okay. Councilmember Baranski.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it. I just have a question probably for the city council or for the city manager. What is the capital outlay fund?
It's just the line item. So it's the capital outlay line item in the general fund under the Public Safety Department.
Okay, so it's coming from the general fund then?
Right.
Got it.
Yep, that's where it was budgeted,
Last year.
the current year that we're in.
That's what, when we did the budget for this year, we budgeted for this vehicle, put it into that line item as a general fund purchase. Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase as outlined in the packet.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Council, anybody else would like to speak on this?
I have a question.
Yes, go
How
ahead.
long are these? So 131,000 miles on it. Is that like typically when you guys look to start replacing a vehicle?
In the past, we used to change them out at about 80, 90,000 miles, and this is about 20 years ago. Now we can kind of push these cars to about 125, 130,000 miles. It just depends on, the vehicle's high idling, rapid acceleration. It just depends on that type of vehicle, and this one's at the end of its game.
And is this something, Elaine, is this something that's been budgeted for already, or is this an additional?
Yes, it's been budgeted.
Okay. Anyone else? All righty, anyone from the audience like to speak on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, item 8D, purchase of Scott air packs and cylinders. That's also you.
Okay. There's a little bit of history to this. But last budget year, Fraser DPS, we purchased new Scott Air Packs. They're SCBAs. So if you can picture the firefighter putting on the air tank, that's what we're kind of talking about with the cylinder. And obviously, these are to support fire ground operations and fires and training opportunities. This was a very large and essential purchase because our old equipment, which was Avon packs, were no longer serviceable, and the company was exiting the air pack business. At the time of the purchase, we bought 14 packs and 28 cylinders, cylinders referring to the air bottles, for the placement on our trucks. Most of the spare bottles currently are on engine 4, which is our primary response vehicle. The other remaining bottles are on truck 1, which is our aerial. So in the event that truck 1 has to go out for a mutual aid and assist, we're only rolling with our 4 packs and our 3 extra bottles. That's a concern. And I just don't think that got, when we made this purchase, I don't think that was, it should have been part of the process, and I think it accidentally got left out. That's why I'm here tonight. So as we've learned over the past several months through a fire on Rambling and training, we need more bottles available to exchange on scene. It's quite common for firefighters to go through 1, 2, sometimes even 3 bottles. Just depends on the situation. Additionally, in the past, we've had 2 packs on our squads. Our squads are our ambulances. They're already equipped with the harness. We just don't have them in place. So with the purchase of 2 additional packs and 7 additional cylinders, we would be able to fill the now empty SCBA mounts on the squad and have additional cylinders on truck 1 changing out for our firefighters. We would also be able to utilize 2 additional packs for fill-ins if a pack is taken out of service, which sometimes they break and you have to take them out of service. Another example is we have 3 PSOs that are in the police academy. They're soon to attend the fire academy. When they attend the fire academy, we have to take 3 packs and 3 packs and 6 bottles out of service so they have equipment to train with at the academy. The good news, to offset this cost of the purchase, we have sold our old packs to the City of Livonia Fire Department. They currently use Avon, and they're also having some problems trying to fix their equipment, hence why they purchased it from us. So they gave us a check for $5,000. The approximate cost of the Scott packs is $8,830.20 each, to a total of $17,660.40 for 2 of them. That's for the packs. Cylinders are just shy of $1,500. $60.40 for 2 of them. That's for the.
Ooh, in stereo.
Good day for Ed today, isn't it?
That was fun.
Where did that come from? So $1,498.89 for 7, totaling $10,492.23. This subtotals $28,152.63. Using the $5,000 that we are, will drop the sale of the equipment to $23,150.63. We request that the purchase be made from MES, where we purchased our previous Scott packs, and that's the manufacturer that provide all the equipment that we currently use. Again, we would offset the price of $5,000, bringing that total down to $23,152.63. I recommend.
Right?
Yep.
You're gonna run, you're getting up here.
To purchase 2 Scott packs and 7 cylinders from MES out of the public safety account, operating supplies, in the amount of $23,152.63.
Okay. Councilmember Bransky. It's the 28,000, and then we've already got 5,000 to offset it, but we're spending 28. Councilmember Bransky.
Make a motion as outlined in the packet to make this purchase.
Second.
Okay, I have a question for Mr. Denault. Simple one. There's an asterisk here. If sole source, include an additional recommended motion to waive competitive bidding. Do I need to do that here? It says it, so I'm asking you.
You and I are on the same page. I'm actually pulling up the ordinance to make sure we do need to do one. I didn't want to tell you we did or we didn't. I think we do here because it is the original manufacturer or I think he's explained, it's the original manufacturer, the original place we purchased these. So per the ordinance, council is to be provided that justification in order to go with sole source. That has been provided to you, but a motion is in order.
I will remove my motion.
Remove the second.
I make a motion to proceed with sole source competitive and waive competitive bidding.
Second.
Is that sufficient?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions from council on why we're doing that? Okay, anybody in the audience like to talk about this motion for sole source from MES? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Councilmember Bransky,
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase as outlined in the packet.
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second to purchase 2 Scott Air Packs and 7 cylinders from MES on a sole source out of Public Safety Account 101-301-742.000 in the amount of $28,152.63. Any member of council like to speak on this? Anyone from the audience? All right, bring it back. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, item 8E, purchase playground engineered wood fiber.
Good evening again. For the city council's request, attached a proposal from Superior Ground Cover for the purchase and installation of engineered wood fiber chips at all the city's parks. The quantities are based on leveling and resurfacing all the playgrounds. Last time they were resurfaced was back in 2023. And again, this was a request from City Council to bring this in front of you. Superior Ground Cover participates in a cooperative, which is the Public Procurement Institute of Michigan, so no additional bids were required. We're requesting a motion to award the proposal.
Okay, got a couple questions here. Councilmember Baranski.
I was just going to make a motion to approve the purchase as outlined in the packet.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Shornack, you.
I just want to make sure before we get that, because I'm in favor of it, of course, but before we do that, are we going to turn over what's in there instead of letting, because what I noticed is, like today, for example, we were at Somerset. So as I pointed out to you guys many times, a lot of the chips get pushed under the equipment where nobody is. And so they're not like on the ground cover. So I just want to make sure before the chips get put in, that the chips that are there, like, I guess if you have a rototiller, go through with a rototiller or something, pull all that up, let it fluff before the new stuff gets put on top, because otherwise it's just breaking down and it's compacting, and then you're getting all these divots as you're walking through, which are trip hazards and everything else, so.
That is a constant maintenance item, and that will be done right before the placement of the,
Just wanted to make sure, because I don't want to, yeah. It doesn't make sense to me to put good stuff over stuff that hasn't been turned over, just to keep it all breathing and stuff like that. Because like I said, we were there today, and I'm like, as I'm sitting there as they're playing, I'm bored out of my mind, so I'm kicking stuff out from underneath the playscapes and stuff like that back out into the general public where they're walking, so, cool. All right, just want to make sure, thank you.
So is this is installed by the company that provides the mulch? They bring their truck out and they blow it into the,
yes.
all right. Councilmember, or Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
Just a quick question. How often does this need to be done? Every 2 to 3 years, would you say is?
I would recommend the schedule that we're on every 3 years. This is a safety item on our playgrounds, and we want to attempt to limit our liabilities and make sure we have a good, safe surface underneath our playground equipment.
And this is for all the parks, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And this was purchased under a municipal buying agreement?
Yes, it's a cooperative procurement, or a public Procurement Institute of Michigan, and this is actually $5 cheaper a cubic yard than the last cooperative we bought from in 2023.
Okay, very good. All right, so any other questions from council? Anyone in the audience like to speak on engineered wood fiber? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, item 8F, Steffens Park Fence Improvement Bid Award.
Mayor and council, I apologize, but I had to do some corrections to the bid tab. As I mentioned at the last city council meeting, these bids are coming in all over the place, and it's really hard to interpret what they're bidding on. But I clarified the bid. I can have Joe pass out a bid tab. Could still be the same recommendation, but you'll have a clearer option of seeing what's available with this bid tab.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you. Really love the big paper. Guys.
It's such a waste, too.
Here you go, Amy. You can't miss this.
I go, my old
I don't even
lady
need my
is
glasses for
loving
this.
it. I'm so happy.
Going-
Can I have the budget on this?
I don't feel visually impaired with this, thank you.
I just asked for dark.
That's for my benefit, too.
You know, the readers are really cheap.
Needed it darker.
So the original agenda item still remains the same. It was a vague scope of where we're sitting at with this park study and public engagement and how much money we want to put into Steffens Park. So I think that was part of the reason why the bids did go a little bit all over the place. But it was, American Fence had a complete option, which is our recommendation, of $48,000, and the original bid tab included that small piece of fence between the parking lot and the ball diamonds. But after further review, it was just for the backstop and the fencing perimeter inside the diamond. I did throw another option out there. I'd like to bring your attention to the bottom row. Just hours ago, Joe and I were putting our heads together, and we could probably do a complete and just as good of job buying materials and tools to do the work for $15,000, if that would be the council's desire.
For that fence piece you're talking?
For the
Pardon?
Park Lane fence?
For just that one part?
It would be both ball diamonds is what the rough estimate, which I think is high because we just did it hours ago, but to do the perimeter fencing around the ball diamonds and the backstop.
Wait,
We almost need like a
The
drawing.
15,000, what would it replace on here? Like what?
are you saying instead of the 48?
Yes,
You're thinking you can do it in-house for 15?
yes,
What we wanted, the backstops?
Plus our labor, internal labor.
yes.
Yeah, 15 plus labor. So you're not wanting what's in the packet. So you've come at a last hour with something we love.
Nice Hail Mary.
It might
Literally.
be, it might be less work to manage this effort than go out to back to
Oh,
bid to get
fair.
something more competitive and apples to apples, but we are confident in our crew. We have a very talented crew, and Joe
Tell
and I
us
both feel we can do
what
it.
you do for, what you're proposing, the internal work would be.
The
Step through what you're proposing to do for that price plus whatever internal labor.
Yeah.
That would include the same scope of the $48,000 bid, which would be replace the fabric at both backstops. Most of the posts will stay. This will be galvanized fencing. It would not be black vinyl or metal or anything. And it would be the dugout fencing and the fencing going alongside the diamonds with one of them extending out towards left field.
So from the backstop this way, it's that fence. It's
Yes.
not the fence along.
This is not addressing Park Lane or the fence between the parking lot and the ball diamonds.
Does that answer your question?
It does, but why not? Just, I mean, genuinely, like, why?
It's council's desire. I just don't know how much
oh.
investment you want to do into the park.
I see.
We can do that also.
Okay.
Do you think that for under the lowest price here that we were looking at, you could afford to do
Right.
all of that along, that separates the fence, that separates that, and maybe some benches, or some new benches?
Right, because like the point being, if we were ready to spend 41 and now you've just literally cut it by 2/3,
I'd rather it look uniform.
I want all the fence to be done, especially the,
And I don't think, no matter what gets decided to be put in that park, the fence along Park Lane is not going to be interrupted, because that's literally going to stay the same. That's going to that defines the park area.
Yeah, when I think over 3 years ago, it's one of the first things I noticed is how bad that fence
Oh, yeah.
looks on
That's been
Park-
bad for a long time.
Park Lane.
so do you feel comfortable that your crew will be able to do the entire scope of what we're talking about?
It was a rough estimate, and I can all but guarantee we can do it under the contractor's bid amount.
I'm good with
I
it.
am so happy with that.
Even the extra fence too.
And,
Yeah.
and
Hold on,
Park Lane.
Yeah,
hold on, I don't want to get them making promises they can't keep and come back. So this wouldn't be 1/3 of the price, because we're paying people internally to do it, and they're not doing other things, basically.
correct.
So you could do this for less than $48,000, significantly less, all in with our labor and then the materials, and if you got to buy machine or rent.
So this ain't, let's make a deal, but
No, I just want
why
to make
don't you
sure
give us
we're
an
clear.
authorized amount, and if it,
Not to
it's
exceed.
beyond our scope,
okay.
we will start with the higher priority of the baseball diamonds and make sure we get that done, and then we'll have a better handle on our rough estimates we did a few hours ago.
So not to exceed.
25 or 30 grand.
No?
Yeah, for materials.
What's your number that you would want to have a not to exceed on materials?
If you want everything done,
Yes.
I could not to exceed the $48,000 bid, and without coming back to you and explaining to you what the extra costs are for.
And then if you find that this doesn't make,
Not to exceed the 48,000.
Not to exceed 48.5. So I'll make the motion to allot $48,500 to DBW to replace the ball diamonds and the fencing around Steffens Park as,
Park Lane.
or Park Lane and the parking lot there, so absolutely.
Second.
Thank you. Sorry for being
haven't
so
voted.
confusing, but.
We haven't voted yet.
Gotta
they
hear,
were
we gotta
tough.
vote.
If it's saving us money, we're good.
We're so
All right,
excited.
I just want to make sure that, anybody else have any comments on this?
I just have a question. So,
Labor's internal.
oh, okay.
Well, there's still a cost to it.
Right, but
so-
it's,
It's already fixed into the budget. It's not an additional sum on top of their hourly rate. It's that they will have to do that hopefully before grass and after snow and after water main, but before,
And before the picnic.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I think we're a little overzealous, but we'll do our
We
best.
will let you
I have
try.
confidence in you all.
I do too.
Believe in
So-
you.
You had a light on.
Yeah. So labor-wise, you know, you got enough hands because you got people mowing lawns and everything else, and you got the diamond dust coming in for that we approved last meeting. Do you have a rough timeline on how long this will take your staff?
Not right now.
Okay, that's fair. And, but you think by the end of the summer at least?
That's what we would shoot for.
All right.
Okay, so I think, so at 48,000, that's the material cost, and then there is a labor component that would go in there. So theoretically, if you did do all this work, the total cost would be higher than the 48,000, but we'd have much more fencing replaced.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that, to your question, there is a cost. I don't think you work for free. No? Okay, just checking. Because if you ever do, give us a call. We'll make sure to work. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Motion by, who was it? Mayor Pro Tem Odell, seconded by Councilmember Fletcher. Anyone in the audience like to speak on this topic? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. There you go. Thank you for the alternative.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing what you do. All right. Item 8G, we've got some people in the audience, been here a long time. Come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you for having us this evening.
Can tell us who you are and why you're here.
I'm going to.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Sutherland. I'm president of the Library Board of Trustees. With me this evening, I have Lorena McDowell, who is our director, and I have Griffin Angelou from MCD Architect, who is working on our project. We're here this evening to present the new library plans to you and the citizens of Fraser. We're here to partner with City Council so that we can move this project forward in the best way to serve the citizens of Fraser. This is the next step we are taking in securing a bond. And I want to make sure that all the citizens understand that getting this bond is not getting any more money from the citizens. We will pay the bond back with the millage that was approved in 2022, and it will not, the city went over all their budgets and stuff like that tonight. None of this money is coming out of the city budget. It will all come out of the library budget. This evening, we're not asking for a bond. We're merely asking that you look at our plans and see if the bond is something you would be interested in and consider, as well as to answer any questions you have about this project. Now I will turn it over to Griffin to present our conceptual plan.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Griffin Angelou with MCD Architects, and I'm going to walk you through our concept package of plans and renderings for the proposed library project. So starting off with a bit of site context, this site, you'll see this rectangular form here is actually an existing library building on the site. It is accompanied by an addition that was done later down the line. We're proposing for that addition to be demolished and a new two-story building to be constructed in its place alongside some site improvements as well. So getting down into our proposals, the parking lot on the site is existing to remain. We aren't changing any of the impervious surface there. We are adding some new pedestrian walkways off to the north of the parking lot, alongside some outdoor patio and garden spaces and an outdoor youth program area. As mentioned, these are all accompanied by new landscaping and a trellis form inside of the outdoor youth program space. Moving to our two-story addition, we do have some operable glass walls that spill out into these outdoor program areas.
Trying to show us this?
Kind of. We'll get into the,
Oh,
this is
okay.
just the site plan, and then we'll walk through the actual floor plans proper after this. But yeah, just to mention the glass walls that spill out and connect to that outdoor patio space and the outdoor youth program area. Moving to the first main level. There we are. Okay. So as mentioned before, the pink space off to the north there is the existing library building to remain, and all of the kind of green and blue spaces are a proposed two-story addition. So down here is the main entry, the vestibule. As you come in, you'll notice the large monumental stair in the center, servicing the primary circulation up to the second floor. To the left is the main circulation desk, alongside a lounge space and a cafe that spills out to that outdoor patio space. There's also a computer station area and some dedicated private study rooms. And then next to that is the main elevator that makes the second level ADA accessible. And then as mentioned in the north, in that existing library space is the staff areas. So an open office area, a dedicated toilet room, conference area, and a private office as well. Off to the east in this main level is the teen and youth services area. So this is for the teen and youth collections, and then also open space for them as well. And then in the north here of that teen and youth area is a program room. In the very center, alongside the monumental staircase, we have 2 family restrooms and then also an egress stair as well. Moving up to the upper floor, this area is primarily dedicated to the fiction and nonfiction collections, as well as open and closed study spaces. So see, we have 5 dedicated study rooms, and then also wherever there is not stacks for the fiction and nonfiction collections, we have open study space. And then in the northern existing area of this floor, we have a large meeting room that has an operable partition on the center, so we partitioned into 2 separate meeting spaces if that's needed. Moving on to some of our exterior elevations that we have, you'll see this first image here. The prominent building that we see in the front is actually the existing library, and then you'll see our addition on either side of it. We really tried to pay homage to the historical and ornate aspect of these buildings, really working with the existing brick and some of the same language, but still differentiating our new addition. Moving around to the other side, you'll see that kind of curved form almost peeling away from the existing building. Again, just really trying to highlight that existing building there. And then moving around to the south at the main entrance here, you'll see some of those outdoor program areas, that proposed trellis, and those large glass walls that connect the interior and the exterior. Another shot of that southern main entrance. You'll see the outdoor patio here. Inside of this glass wall would be the proposed cafe space. Directly adjacent would be that entry vestibule. And just one final shot of that elevation, again showing some of these outdoor program spaces. That is all. I would just like to, again, state that these are concepts. All of this is subject to change as we move through our schematic and design development and construction document process. So none of this is really set in stone. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll entertain questions at this time.
Got a couple. You included a financial report and a budget forecast. And, well, first question is, how much are you looking to borrow?
That will not be determined until we meet with bond counsel and get the numbers. And we have to have the drawing in order to get the exact dollars, exact square footage, in order to get a price for you.
All right, the price, you did include a price in here of $7.5 million.
That's an estimated price,
That's
correct?
an estimated price.
Correct.
Could be higher, could be lower.
That's correct, sir.
What is your maximum that you're looking to spend? Do you have a ballpark on, because your forecasts need to show us kind of what you're planning on borrowing to see if you can pay it back with, and still continue to operate as a library, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Built into that is a contingency
Okay.
into that. So we're counting on a contingency as well as our current cash value that we have now.
Okay. So just, do you have a range of what you're looking to borrow? Okay, because,
We expect it to be we expect it to be somewhere between 7 and 8 million, the cost for doing this. That is an estimate. We don't have any exact numbers yet.
okay,
That's the range you're hoping to be in, right? You're not.
Correct.
okay. So you've been doing this a long time, and I want to make sure, because I reverse engineered the report that we received.
Yes.
And turned it into a budget, and it looks like that, it was, the debt service was in there at about a $6 million maximum bond amount. Is that something, is that what you think is realistic?
That is the least it will be. It could be that.
Okay. At that, with your financials, I looked at your financials, the forecast that was provided.
Yes.
So that's the only information I have.
Yes.
And based on that, you can borrow on that whole 25 years.
Yes.
Or actually 15. Are you looking at like 15 years?
It would be ideal. I
Okay.
mean, originally, we were trying to go with the whole time of the millage, but it's already later. So, but at the same time, we've been putting some of that money in a good account, so we will have it when it comes. So some of this we already have. We'll already have some to start with. So we won't need to borrow the full 7 million. We already have some set aside.
Well, I looked at it, and a couple things, and I've done some municipal finance and capital improvement forecasting. So what I looked at is, can you make the debt service? And I see two concerns. One of them is that if it's at this rate that's in this model,
Yes.
which is based upon guesses on what the property taxes will be,
Yeah.
there's missing, in 2044, apparently, we're not going to raise taxes at all. In 2047, there's no expense increases.
Yeah.
And in between there, the inflation rate is really guesstimated.
Yeah.
And as we know, our forecasts are only good out a certain amount of time. We cannot predict 2044. We cannot predict 2040.
Yeah, we can barely predict next
Well,
year.
but we have to try. But we have to make sure that that the money can be paid back. So based on the model that you have, you can break even with your programming estimates and all that, and have less than $50,000 a year surplus.
Yes.
And if you go any higher than that, you are now in a deficit.
Yes.
And the first several years you go through that, you end up, you're in the hole. Because, and I figured out, essentially each $1 million that you borrow for 15 years at 5% will cost about $100,000, a little bit under $100,000
In interest, is that what you mean?
in total. That's the debt service payment. So if they borrowed $5 million, it would be about little under $500,000 a year, principal and interest.
Oh, the payment. Got
Yeah,
it.
that's the payment. So, and that continues, generally, that's that payment for the whole time of the
Okay.
bond.
The life of the bond.
Yeah, so right now, the model you have has $8.5 million principal and interest in it.
Yeah.
And that is not, you can't borrow $7.5 million and only pay
Yeah.
$8.4 million. So that would be something I'd want to see, a firmer forecast on, and taking a look at, and I can provide you the spreadsheet that I did and pull out, because you have historical multipliers, they're all in there. I really appreciated having those. And the main thing is, the other thing is the LCSA money. You're familiar with the Local Community Stabilization Authority. The assumption in here is that it doubles. And I don't know how that happened. Maybe it's because you added the second mill, but that's been a while. And so without that money, without that doubling, you're in a hole right at $6 million.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that we're not getting ahead of putting the cart before the horse, because, and I talked to Jim the other day, and I said, what I want to make sure is that you don't have a plan and then it comes back and it's even higher than what you can afford, because then we're kind of stuck in that. That's my thoughts. I don't mean to hog the whole conversation, but I got lights here. And Councilmember Higgins, would you like to start?
Yeah, what was the contingency that you mentioned?
8%, I think. 8% contingency.
Okay, and can you explain?
Construction.
Okay, can you explain what that means for like the public? And
You can probably do it easier than me. Oh, yeah, here. Take that.
Okay, thank you. So most of so at least our architecture fee and then also the construction management fee and the contingency are based on hard construction costs. So once our construction documents go out to bid, we'll get hard bids back from contractors, and that will determine the hard construction cost, and then the contingency would be 8% of whatever that is. So our original estimate for this, the hard construction costs were $5,224,000. So 8% of that for the contingency ended up being $417,920.
Which is a total of what, 5.9?
Yes, roughly. Yeah.
I did it in my head, so,
Yeah.
okay.
okay,
You good?
yes.
All right. Councilmember Shornack.
I just wanted to know, what timeline were you guys hoping for, thinking? How long did you think it would take to pull it down, rebuild, that whole thing? Because I'm sure that is what the public wants to know.
So I know that once we have the go-ahead of interest from you guys, just that you're interested in even entertaining this idea, that's when we would start, we would initiate the drawing and stuff, so we have real drawings for us to send out for bid. And just that period for the architects takes 6 to 8 months. And then it needs to go out for bid. So we wouldn't even be looking at doing anything. And then once it goes out to bid, then we ask you guys to do a bond. So we're looking at probably two years before it would be at the earliest done. Yeah, it would be, everything could be done maybe in 2 years, but that's still a guesstimate, you know.
Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
I just want to talk about the drawings here. I do really like what you guys did with it, because we don't have a lot of parking space, so you went up, made it more open. You got a patio that's safe south of 14 Mile Road. I think you could do a lot of programming out there during the summertime, and have a lot of open space. So I like the design, and everything comes down except the old original library, and that's basically going to be offices and backspace, right? So, in meeting rooms, and the public's going to basically have access to the new area, right? That's what they're going to see when they go in and utilize the space. Looking at the financials as well, I was looking at, and I apologize, my computer just died on me, but with paying for it on the bonds, it looked like you were looking at roughly about 80% of what you're bringing in with the new bond that was passed, with the new millage. Sorry about that. With the new millage is basically what you're allocating to service this debt over that 15 years or 17 years or whatever time frame you need. And it comes out of, we collect the taxes, it's got to get paid, right? So whatever, we just got to make sure that the debt service, like Mayor Lessig was saying, is serviceable. With the 20% based on your thing, you'll be able to initiate the programming that you're looking for, and then the 1 mil that comes with the library, that will cover your basic operating costs still at the 1 mil.
Yes.
Okay.
That is what we're looking for. And we have been implementing a lot of new programming stuff. We've already started doing the new computers, and we have new stuff for the public, new things they can check out. We have, laptops that they can check out. We've increased the amount of Wi-Fi hotspots we have that the public can check out. And we have many other small literacy things because of the literacy crisis in the state of Michigan. And we are trying to do our best to counter that as well. So that's all falls in the programming area. And we have applied for grants. There are several grants right now for that kind of stuff. And we have a good, we likely will get a lot of those grants because I know what's happening in the state. And so they're like, please apply and we will give all these grants out. So.
And like with any grants, like we've been talking with the parks, if you don't have a plan,
Yeah.
if you don't have something, they're not going to throw the money behind it. So
Correct.
we need a very structural plan to
Yes.
hopefully offset some of those costs so we can provide even more services to our,
Yes.
our
And we do
citizens.
have a strategic plan now. And so that helps with grants and all that kind of, those kind of items. It does help. And because we can say, this is what our plan for moving forward. We have a precise thing to point at.
And then our neighbor community, Roseville, just completed their brand-new library, getting rave reviews. People want these more open spaces. The days of all the books on the shelves are not, it's not the same thing with the library. It's more of a public space to utilize for lots of different programming, more so than checking out books. There'll still be books, but that's...
Yeah, but there's
it's
more to it.
Yeah, we're not using the same old blueprint. We're evolving with the times with this. Okay.
People expressed that they wanted more community spaces. They want more study rooms. They want stuff where they can meet. I want to meet with Jim, and we can meet at the library, and we can rent, not rent, but, check out in a way.
Reserve a room,
study
right?
room,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, I just from talking to residents, they want the library back. They want a nice place they can go to. Strip mall is not ideal. I understand why you got to do it, but I'm for it. I really like the concept. I think it's It's very multifunctional for a lot of different things going forward. And it looks nice. It looks like the old library, but yet is going to be completely modern. So yeah, let's get those numbers down because I'm in favor to get this going. I want the residents to get their traditional library back. And yes, I'm sure you guys do. And people are wondering what's going on, and it is a long process. It's not, you can't snap your fingers and it's done. And the alternative, if we don't get something done, is either
The strip mall.
the strip mall, right? I mean, Fraser only has so many open buildings in the city to even be able to entertain a space like this because
Yes.
we're 2 by
And there
2.
are places in the city where you can, for example, there's not a lot of places to rent to have a baby shower or anything like that in the city of Fraser. There's just not a lot of places. There's a few, but not a lot.
Right.
And this gives an open space that will be easy for all members of the public to get into and have their items.
Thank you.
And you can see, if you want to see more of the plans, they are on the website.
They're in City Hall here around the corner as
And they're
well.
in
If
City
people want to
Hall,
come
and
check it
they're
out.
on the library wall inside the library as well. So they're here in City Hall, and they will be for at least another week. And they'll be up in the library for an unknown we won't take it down until everything starts. So,
Well, like I said, let's get the numbers as solid as we can so we can show the public we can pay it back, even with worst case scenarios, and we'll be fine. And I think, at least I hope, we'll have the support to move forward with that. Thank you.
Before we move to, we got 3 lights on, what's your library URL? What's the web address for the library?
FraserPublicLibrary.net.
Thank you. .net.
.net.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Baranski is next.
Others can go first, because
Well, you were first.
Oh, okay. I have a couple questions. What are the current library hours?
Monday through Thursday, it is 10 in the morning until 8 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday is 10 in the morning to 5 p.m.
So it's closed on Sunday?
It's closed on Sunday. For right now, I mean, we might change when we get that,
Well, and that was going to be my question is, so as we build this new library in this new space, in the budget needs to be consideration for if you do have different hours, the cost that goes along with that, not just incidental costs of more heating, more cooling if you have people in there, and then staffing costs.
You have to pay the staff.
Right, so that circles back to it being very important. I'm in favor of this concept, so I was on the subcommittee, made that clear already, but just so the public knows. But just like the last time, the math has to make sense, because if you run out of money and it's not done, or you can't staff it, or you can't have the programs, and then we have to have another mill, that to me is a deal breaker. I'm not going to set us up so that you have to have 2 mills indefinitely just to have the bare minimum. So the math has to make sense. So I have a couple questions probably for the architect, because this is my chance to ask you, because you haven't been at the meeting. So there's 2 staircases, and a lot of this, I get it's a concept and it's going to change over time, but the one thing I've learned is what you start with is kind of where you go, right? Like you guys all, because where we started, what you showed us at first has changed, but it's really hard to go back and scale back. And so the recommendation is always, because there's going to be cost overruns, there's going to be unanticipated costs or unknowns, that and I didn't do the math like the mayor, but I trust his numbers in terms of if the math is that tight, be mindful of that and find ways to scale back so that you don't run out, and whether it is decreasing the square footage in some capacity, and this is one of the questions I had, you have 2 staircases in here, and I know staircases are a very expensive, it's crazy how much staircases cost to build. Do they have to have 2 per code? Was that a design I get you have one very elegant staircase and one service staircase, but is it required by code or?
Not necessarily. The one egress stair that you'll see, the less flattering one that's kind of tucked away in the back is required by code. And then the one monumental stair, I believe is not entirely necessary. If we didn't do a monumental, we would need a second egress one. So it's...
The point being, there's ways to change reduce the expense without changing the square footage.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and so as I said before as well, these are just concepts. So yes, if we do need to scale back cost, that's entirely possible to do throughout our design process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the secondary question kind of related to that is there a per square footage cost, or I don't know how you figure it out, right? So like, what is this? Because where I'm going to ultimately go, same thing I said to them before. So you got this curve, which I loved how you described it, flowing old into new and all that. What I see is all of the garbage and all of the stuff and all the leaves that's swirling down 14 Mile that's going to go in there. It's going to, I will go on record right now. I don't want to hear anyone complain. I guarantee it's a pinch point and it is going to happen. And so I was like, well, if you decreased, right, thank you, exactly, bringing that space shorter, so it's less, it also decreases the cost. So I have a twofold question. And again, this is just my opinions, but it all goes back to cost. How do we know, like, what's the cost per square foot or?
So pairing with a construction manager early, like McCarthy and Smith, who did provide this budget.
Yep.
We recommend that for every client. So as we move through our 3 phases, which are schematic, design development, and construction docs, after each one of those phases, we'll give our progress drawings to McCarthy and Smith, and they'll do another estimate each time.
Got it.
So it'll be 3 more estimates as we move through our drawing process, and each time those drawings get more and more developed, you'll get closer and closer to the actual bid cost.
Got it.
So let's say we move into schematic, maybe the price comes back a little bit lower, we want to go even lower. Then in design development, we have that opportunity after seeing some more refined numbers to cut back even further.
Got it. So with the proposal, I couldn't pull it up fast enough. What are we at per square foot? Like the estimate
13,195, just over 13,000.
per square foot?
No, per
Oh,
square
that's the
foot.
square footage of the whole.
Oh, yeah, the cost. No, you're good. I was like, that is very fancy.
Yeah, I was like, is everything in gold?
We are gonna be the
we
nicest
Trump's
library
mansion? I
ever.
mean, come on.
So the square footage of the new building, or no, of the total,
Total of the whole new project,
new and old,
new and old.
is gonna be
188.
13,188.
Yep.
And we currently are at 9,000.
Okay, if you're going to talk in the mic, so we.
sorry.
No, it's the microphone.
So just say that again for the public.
Okay. Right now, the new one is at 13,188. And the one we had before the truck ran into it, the old library, was 9,000, a little over 9, right?
Yes, but the area that was accessible to the public was 7,500,
Because the upstairs
was not
used.
generally open.
Yep.
Unless we had a program up there.
So we're looking to increase.
But it was there, it just needed renovations. So you're adding about 4,000.
Or 5, somewhere in there.
Got it. Okay. And then, so back to you.
Yeah, so the cost per square foot would be, and again, this estimate
rough.
provided by, okay. So 13,188, 5. Sorry, I don't have the number on hand.
Oh, no.
Well,
I guess I could do the math too.
there's a document that they.
In here?
Yeah, 450 for the new part.
Around-
For the new construction.
square
And then
foot?
150 per square foot for the
reno-
remodel.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I wanted. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I had those numbers in my head.
Oh.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, it wasn't just, I just thought I thought he would have them at his.
Sorry, yeah.
No, you're good. I forgot, you're the designer.
Okay.
No, beautiful, thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, forgot the lights. Let's see, Councilmember Fletcher.
I just got a quick question. I support this. I was just curious about, and this might be a silly question, so it might just be going over my head, but I'm curious about the cafe. Was that something you were planning on having, like a staff cafe with like beverages and stuff, or is that just kind of like a place to hang out to eat? You know what I mean? I'm just curious.
It's a place to hang out to eat
Okay.
or do anything, because right now you're not supposed to eat in the library. You're
Right.
not supposed to do that. So this is a way for, hey, you're working, you want to take your break. You can hang out there. You know, maybe you work at City Hall and you can go eat there in a nice open area. So you can go there and come out, and also we can have programs. which was one of the things we really wanted. We wanted areas that it would be easier to have programs that had food, and we could even bring in like restaurants from the area, like, hey, will you do this event with us? So it's a way also to promote things within the city. So,
Okay.
no, we're not staffing it.
Okay. You all set? Yep. Councilmember Perry.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask about the square footage. You guys cleared that up, obviously, a moment ago. My other question is, have you looked into just remodeling what's there or fixing the current building and like, just to give the residents, here, 7-8 million compared to what it would cost to just fix the existing building?
Okay, yeah, this was actually our first thought with this. So about a year ago, we did do a building feasibility study for the existing building on site. So us and our engineers came out and essentially looked through the entire building and provided a report to the library regarding the general building health, the mechanical, electrical, and structural systems of the building. And the findings of that report were that the building was not suitable to serve the library as is. So that's what led to the demolition of that existing building. Kind of going with that, we did want to preserve that original existing historic part of it. We figured that would be worth the cost. So that's why that northern block is staying, and we're essentially demolishing the southern area.
No, I understand that part. I was on the subcommittee as well. I'm just curious, do you have a rough ballpark number of what it would take to just fix up the newer annexed part where the car went through?
We have the
The
assessment online.
the assessment's online, but the existing annex that was in the 70s
Yeah, the newer.
is not right. That is not stable enough to have a second floor. And when they built it originally, they didn't build it well enough to build on top of it for a second floor.
Okay.
So just remodeling, even if we remodeled the annex and left the original old building,
Yep.
it would still not be enough space for us. And we wouldn't be able to give,
There'd be no, the original area would still have no study rooms, no additional meeting spaces. The elevator is not working anymore. It's not up to code, so that has to be taken out. That whole area has to be taken out and redone. The sewer line is non-usable pretty much. And there's all the other parts of the building are not up to code and working. So renovating it would still cost millions of dollars.
I realize that. I was just wondering if you had a number. So people, because I'm getting asked about this, obviously, outside of meetings, and they just want to know, why does the library want to spend $8 million, let's just say? I'm just curious, like, if you had a number, ballpark, what it would take. I realize it won't be as big as what you're hoping for, but was there ever a number that you came to just to, get the annexed part and even the existing schoolhouse, like, up to current levels, functioning, updated?
Safe.
Yeah.
we did not have that.
Okay.
I do not have a number. I can see what I can do for you and get back with
If
you.
you wouldn't mind, just, if
I don't
it's
mind.
something you can figure out, that would be great.
Sure. I can get that to you.
Okay. Is that all?
Yep, I think so.
Councilmember Higgins.
Well, I've been really anticipating seeing what this would look like. I'm really excited to see the scope and the additional square foot, adding all the extra space. I actually got my library card when I moved here to Fraser. I moved here in 21, bought my house here in 21, and then I got my library card in 22, like the week before the truck drove into it. Well, I had to wait for it to come in the mail.
Oh, okay.
I was like, all right. Yeah, that's what I was told. It came in the mail, and like I was going to use it, and then I heard about the car. I do think this is something we need to compete with other municipalities. A library I do view it as a value add to the community. If you go to Mount Clemens, I keep hearing the word about the staircase monumental, and that is exactly what I hear. If you go to the Mount Clemens Public Library, it is a monumental staircase. Like, it is a feature staircase. It's something I think about whenever I think about that building. I think about that staircase, and it makes me want to come back. I don't live in Mount Clemens, right? Yes. Oh, really? Mount Clemens?
You're mixing up Clinton Township.
No, I'm talking about Mount Clemens. Mount Clemens is like a monumental staircase. It's like a different. Oh, well, it's very
Spend a
nice.
lot of money on that library, too.
Yes, they did. And I think people are hungry for like third spaces, which is something I've said about parks before. Like there is nowhere really for people to go to meet with friends, acquaintances that you do not have to spend money at. Especially in winter in Michigan, you have to spend money if you want to meet somewhere that's not in somebody's living room or family room. And I think that is something that's necessary in a community. So I am kind of concerned about the cost, and I want to get those figures firmed up. And I hope you guys do meet with bond counsel. So speaking just for myself, I support this. So I think you guys should go ahead and meet with bond counsel and get those numbers firmed up sooner rather than later. We did receive some emails about the numbers, and I'm guessing, and then I saw a news article recently. I'm guessing why that is. There are some numbers that don't quite, right, we're missing. Multipliers that were put in there estimated, right? Do you have any idea about how long it will take you to get those, like the spreadsheets in order?
How about this? Do you have a new accountant?
Yeah, that's kind
Let's just cut to the chase.
That's kind of my question.
Yeah, we do.
We do, and she's great. But we do have a new accountant, new bookkeeper for the library. They started a month ago, and but we're still in the process of getting her into everything. So, like, the amount of things you have to go through, the amount of hoops just to get them access to things, it's crazy. So, but yes, we're in the process of doing that right now. She's great. Like, I really like her. Her name is Lori Grayson, if that matters. Did that help? Okay.
So I guess for me, the question is, and I do have these concerns about the multipliers. They sounds nerdy, but they drive revenue.
Yeah.
So you take the previous number times the multiplier, and that's your next year's number. And if those aren't real, then we're all coming back here in 5 years.
Like, how can you forecast it without real numbers?
Well, forecasting is an art and a science.
Yes.
But at the same time, we need to be forecasting conservatively rather than, say, in 2027, we're going to have a 4% increase or whatever. Or in 2036, which is still within that bond payment period.
Yes.
So when can somebody that's familiar with this kind of stuff, I understand the person's getting up to speed, but, and I assume your previous person's not available at the moment.
Don's face tells it all.
All right, let's bring it back here. So, but I really, to be perfectly serious, I am not comfortable with what I'm seeing here in terms of the assumptions that were made. And I would like to see a better look at it. So and I can give you, I'll send that to you tomorrow.
Yes.
The spreadsheets that I created out of your spreadsheets. Yeah. I didn't do anything but reverse engineer it.
Yes.
And
thank you.
That way you have a starting point, and a person that's good with Excel can look at this and say, okay, I see how this works. Because on your 36 pages of financials, it was very difficult to follow. And so that's, I just want to make sure we don't put the cart before the horse, because you mentioned they're going to take 6 to 8 months to do drawings. Should the council say, yes. I don't want to put you in a position where you think, oh, we're good to go, and you spend $300,000 on drawings, and then you come back and you don't have the money. And I've seen that before, because everybody wants everything everywhere all at once.
Yes.
So when would you have something like that to come back with, so that we can say, well, the council can do what the council does. But
yes.
For my comfort, I would like to see a firmer set of financial forecasts that I can look at and say, you know, an independent finance director from somewhere else look at this would say, yeah, that's pretty much how we do it.
Yep. May I ask to have time to speak with the new bookkeeper?
Absolutely.
Find out how much time she's going to need to come up with this. And she's from a firm, So it's not just her. She has
Sure.
people behind her.
Great.
So I would like to speak with her to find out, and then I'll get back to you.
That'd be great. And then I'll send you that stuff, and it's as is, where is. So if I made a mistake in there, it's up to you guys to fix it, because it's your date, it's your numbers.
Yeah.
So, and then could you come back, do you think, in a month and give us a report?
Probably.
Okay,
I would think so.
all right. So where does that leave you? Are you moving forward with design drawings, or are you going to wait till you get a better number on, what I really want to know is how much you can borrow. Just like the city here, there's a whole formula on what our borrowing capacity is in any municipality, correct? And so I'd really like to know what your bond counsel and your bond people and all the numbers people that do bonds say, this is what you can safely do.
When would I be able to meet with any bond counsel? Because that would be the next
I
question.
don't know that, I'm not a bond counsel.
They are ready anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw Mr. Colas a couple weeks ago, but I was standing in a auditorium.
Well, basically, if I hear you right, what you're saying is you get your numbers straight, have bond counsel look at them, say, yeah, these are good numbers, and then come back.
Then do your plans.
This is how much we,
Yeah.
this is how much we want. This is how much we can afford.
Yeah, I'm with you, because don't talk to bond counsel until you have your math right, because they don't get paid unless the bond goes through. So if the math doesn't math.
Right, and they can tell you whether the bond, we can't sell the bonds based on this math.
Right,
You know,
exactly,
That's
like they
really
did
what we're,
last
So it's like they're auditing their numbers and saying, yeah, these are realistic numbers. Yeah, you can afford this.
yeah, we're all beholden to the people that buy the bonds, you know, so, all right. So do we have a plan for, path forward, and what do you,
Need to talk to those people.
That person.
wait, so your people will talk to our people,
Yes.
and then you'll come up with a plan, and then everyone will you'll share it with everyone?
Yes.
And-
Fair?
Okay. We good? Is there anybody in the audience would like to speak on this, since we okay? Anyone? Laura Lesich would like to say something. A regular member of our audience.
I'll sing a tune. No. Laura Lessage, 15201 Fairview. I'm loving the building, the concept, the activities, all that stuff. My concern is capacity in the building itself. What's your limit? And I know people can ride their bikes, walk, drive to the library, but there's only, 35 parking spots? So how do you account for having a big event of some sort, baby shower, whatever you're talking about there, and allow for the parking within the city or around it?
Well, there is parking on the street outside the building, so along Fruhoff and along Rosemary, isn't that the street behind? Yeah. So both on Fruhoff and Rosemary, you can park as well. So we would utilize those areas additionally.
Okay. All right. Any other member of the audience would like to speak? All right, I think we're good for now. You guys get together, figure out what the next steps are, and then please, Elaine, let the council know as a whole, so that we have an idea where things are going, and the next time we'll see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, item 8G, report of city administration.
Nothing really to report. I did have a web meeting with VC3, a quarterly regular meeting that I have with them. Most of my time was spent preparing for this budget meeting and next week's. Thanks.
Any questions for the city manager? All right, report of mayor, city council. We'll start with Councilmember Fletcher tonight.
Don't really have anything to report. Just hope everyone has a good month.
All right, let's go to Councilmember Shornack tonight.
I have a challenge for the Fraser community. So everybody always says that, you know, all these things bring assets to the community, and this is what I'm going to say to Fraser. And I'm not going to put it on Facebook because you all know I can't stand Facebook anyway. But here's the challenge. The weather is getting nicer. So why don't you get out there and clean up your lawns, clean up all the debris and the garbage that has landed there, especially if you're on a mile road, because I've been walking a lot recently around the mile roads and stuff, and the garbage is piled up out there. So Fraser, where's the pride? Fraser, get your pride back about your community, about your property. If somebody's going to drive through our town right now, I'm not thinking they're going to have a really good impression. I mean, literally, I've been walking around and I can't believe how much, I mean, we've had a lot of pretty decent days as of recent. Today was a perfect example. Yet I see so much trash on people's lawns. And that's your property. Those homes, you're spending tons of money in taxes. And why would you want your community to look like that? And then if you have somebody who is not capable physically of taking care of that, then why don't you help out your neighbor? I think Fraser has lost that personal touch of getting to know their neighbors, helping their neighbors, being a community. The place I was raised in, we helped each other. And I have not seen a heck of a lot of that going on. And I don't see the Fraser pride anymore. So I am challenging our community to get a little more pride behind yourselves and clean up your front lawns and just clean up the community. If you see trash on the ground and there's a garbage can, like if you're walking through a park, pick up the trash and throw it in the garbage can, even if you didn't put it there. This is our community. These are your homes. Take a little pride in them. So I'm challenging y'all to get out there and do that, because I have not seen a lot of that lately, and I want Fraser pride back. So that's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Baranski.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Perry.
I don't have anything either.
Councilmember Higgins.
I do have some things. Okay, from the Fraser Historical Society, their open house for their Baumgartner Museum will be on Sunday, April 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. That's this coming Sunday. Time is flying by. They need volunteers to help with the spring garden cleanup on Saturday, May 2nd and 9th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they will be accepting donations for their annual barn sale every Wednesday starting May 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And no clothing will be accepted. In other news, I did want to thank the DPW and Rob and Joe and the entire crew at the DPW for helping out a Fraser resident who had posted on Facebook about something in their drain, which is a county drain. It's the county's responsibility ultimately, but fortunately the DPW was able to assist because the debris was located such that where the backhoe was able to get it. So big thanks to the DPW.
Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
I just want to thank the Recreation Department. Looks like we had another great marshmallow drop here last month. Had a pretty good turnout by the looks of it, and seems to be a good event that continues to build year after year. So I'm just proud of everybody that put that together. Fraser First Booster Club has the Trample the Trail Walkathon coming up April 18th, next Saturday, from 9 to 11 o'clock. Winkler will be there, and it's an opportunity to bring all your scrap metal recycling that you need to clean up your garages and whatnot. You want to get rid of cookware, old gutters, old fencing, wires, cables, car parts, appliances. Bring it out, get rid of it. It doesn't cost you a cent. Any recycled money is going to go back into Steffens Park.
VCRs, microwaves, flat screens, boom boxes. Yes, and that middle-aged man box of cables you got in your basement that you think you're going to use, you can take them. We'll take them.
And again, it's at Steffens Park, so there'll be different stations around, giveaways from different sponsors. It'll be a fun event to get outside, enjoy the warm weather, which I think we're expected to have a really good week in weather next week, hopefully. And just encourage, come out and see your neighbors, get some items recycled, and check out Steffens Park and what we're looking to accomplish. That's it.
Okay. I'll just piggyback on that, April 18th, 9 to noon, and there will be, we just added a shred day. So if you have documents, you got a pile of paper in your basement next to that pile of cables that you've been saving since the 80s, bring it, and we will, and not me, I'm not shredding it, but we will have a truck here to shred it. August, do you know if they will be shredding on-site, or will
Yes,
they put in?
it's one of those trucks where you sit there and watch them do it.
Okay. Somebody asked me about that. And so you can bring, Winkler will not take a tube TV, which I have one of those next to the box of old cables from the 80s and the pile of paper. So they will not take that, but they will take a flat screen. They will take, I took a bunch of stuff over there several months ago as I was cleaning stuff out, and they'll take cables and, you know.
How about keypads?
Pardon me?
How about keypads?
Keypads?
Keyboards?
There's not a whole lot in there, but I guess they would take it, and if they won't, and if they can't recycle that, they'll have a dumpster available to take that kind of thing that's not recyclable and put it in there. So you can bring it, for sure. If you have, you know, you can, anything metal, pretty much, they will take, which is very helpful, because I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, and it was hard to find the right place. Winkler will take just about anything, so. Want to say also, Marshmallow Drop was fun. That was very well attended. There were hundreds of people. Weather turned out snow in the morning, but it cleared up just in time for the marshmallows to drop from the sky, and a good time was had by all. And then Trample the Trail, I'm sure Laura will be talking about it too. That's next Saturday. Get out here and support your city. And it'll be a great event. There'll be some... There'll be tables, vendors, not vendors. AEW will be out there, I think, doing the survey as well. So come on out and meet your neighbors. That's all I have, and now let's move to item 11, citizen participation.
Remind everybody to do the QR code for the parks.
Oh, there is a QR code online for this, and there's a link to it as well on the city website. Oh, I did notice, the city website. There's two spots to get the agenda, and there's one on the main page that's click there for the agenda, and I think goes to the new Civic Plus agenda page. The other page was not updated, so I didn't see it, and I didn't get a notification.
For which meeting?
This meeting. Yeah, Laura told me, Laura saw the agenda. She said the agenda's out there. I went to the page I've been going to forever. There's a link that says agenda. I'll send you the link to what I was on. But it was in one place, it wasn't in the other. And so I eventually found it, of course, but that's all. All right, item 11, citizen participation. Anyone like to speak? Laura, come on up.
Laura Lessig, 15201 Fairview. Well, you pretty much said everything I was going to say about the Trample the Trail. However, I just want to remind people to register on FraserFirst.com. It's $10 per person or $20 for a family of 5. And remember, all this fundraising that Fraser First is doing here benefits the city. It's all going back into the city. And our hope is to piggyback on the reinventing Steffens Park with our band shelter amphitheater concept. The next Fraser First Booster Club meeting is Wednesday, April 15th at 6:30 at Hanover Grove. I want to thank Hanover Grove for continuing to let us meet there. I also want to thank the community and everyone that came out for our fundraiser we had last month in March. We had a lot of good baked goods to give away or sell rather, and we had a nice little crowd there, and that's nice. And the Friends of the Library come and participate in that as well. Recycling, I know Councilman Patrice Shornick mentioned the zoo was taking things on that same weekend, but they also are open on the Sunday to take those flat screen TVs and everything else that.
Tube TVs.
The tube TVs, there you go. So they're open on Sundays, so you can come to Fraser's event and get rid of some stuff, and then if you have other things, go to the zoo and get your free ticket to the zoo. I kind of lost my thought there. So then you have, I wanted to mention too, we will have, if you bring your recycles, we'll have raffle tickets. We'll have several baskets that you can select and go for a win on the baskets there. And AEW will be there on site to provide the survey, and it's been all over, I see it all over the city, the QR code everywhere. So please do the survey, it's very important. I wanted to then mention the Beautification Club. Their next meeting is April 22nd at 6:30 at Ramshorn. And this is a special meeting. Usually they meet every other month, but they're going to have a special one in April because their focus will be working on the Toodle Tour. This year, it'll be at the Baumgartner House, so there'll be more information coming about that. It'll be happening sometime in the summer. And I think that's all I have, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fraser Library is having a Ramshorn event. What date is that? 16th.
Okay.
Next Thursday. So we'd appreciate everybody coming out for that.
Very good. What time? 5 o'clock? Is that what they usually start?
You guys sent me up here with no information.
Hey, welcome to my
That's
world.
why they said, Jim, go do
Just
it.
meander
Right,
there.
exactly. It's like,
Totally.
I don't
Give it
wanna
to
do
Laura.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Higgins, seconded by Councilmember Shornack to adjourn the meeting at 9:07 PM. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Can we bring batteries to that?
I had 9:13.
What about batteries?
Can we bring the batteries to?